Hi everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my computer. Today we're going to go over some common mistakes that people make when they use Inkscape. I absolutely love Inkscape, but I know that it can be really scary for people who haven't used it before or have never used a vector program. So I'm going to go over some common mistakes, and the way we're going to go over them is comparing them to things that happen in CRICUT Design Space. Once you understand Design Space and you see the correlation between Inkscape and Design Space, it makes everything so much easier. Now don't forget to subscribe, that way you don't miss out on any fun, crafty content we have coming. Without further ado, let's get started. I'm covering some common mistakes people make when working with Inkscape. So the first one I want to talk about is text. I feel like that one is a really common problem that people have. So I'm going to go ahead and scooch this text up. To start text, you're just going to find the little A and you can click anywhere on your screen to type in the text that you want. So I'm just going to say CRICUT upload, because that's what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to upload it into my CRICUT Design Space software so that you guys can see what happens if you make a mistake. Now, if I want to change my font, I can do that right here. I can choose pretty much anything that I want to make it. It doesn't really matter right now, but choose what you want for your project. So I'm just going to go with this one. It doesn't really matter. And then all I'm going to do is go ahead and go to File, and I want to save this as, and then I'm going to save it as an Inkscape SVG. I'm going to save it into my YouTube folder here, and I'm going to create a new folder. That way I can save everything in here. So I'm going to call this Inkscape Mistakes, and we'll go ahead and save this. I'll just leave it as file name drawing. It does not matter what I name the file. Now let's go over to CRICUT Design Space. In CRICUT, we're going to upload our image by clicking upload, and then you can click upload image and you can browse for it or drag and drop. I'll browse for it. And I want to select the one that says drawing. Now yours may show as a HTML document. That is your SVG, just so you're aware. I'm going to go ahead and select it. And what you're going to see is that there's nothing on our screen. I don't see anything, do you? That's okay, let's click continue and see what happens. There's still nothing there. Let's go ahead and click upload. And you're gonna see here that they were unable to upload our design. It says due to our internet connection, but it's actually because we didn't do a step in Inkscape. Back over in Inkscape, let me show you what you need to do in order for your text to show up when you do an upload. You need to take your text, make sure that it is selected. You want to go up to the top where it says path. What you want to do is choose object to path. Then I want you to go under object. You're going to ungroup this object here. And then I want you to go to path and I want you to choose union. Now I want to show you something over here in our layers panel. Do you see how this one has a T next to it? This is actually the one that says Inkscape tutorial. This one that we just did now has these kind of dots next to it that almost look like an R. That's showing us that we have created a path for our text. Now I am going to do the same thing here for our Inkscape tutorial word. That way it'll work in Design Space. So again, we're going to go to path, object to path. Then you want to go to object, ungroup, then you're going to go to path and you're going to choose union. Then we'll go ahead and save this image again. So I'm just going to go to save. I'm not going to save it as a new image. We'll just save it over the original. Let's go back to Design Space. We're again going to choose upload image and we're going to browse. We're going to choose that drawing again. And this time, do you see? We have text on our screen. Now, I know it looks really blurry and messy, but that is just because of Design Space. That's not anything to do with our upload or our design. It's just Design Space. Once it's uploaded into your canvas, and I know that the CRICUT upload word is really small, but you see now it's nice and clear and it's good to go. So that is one task that I think a lot of people make mistakes with when they're working with Inkscape. So anytime you use text for any part of your design, you need to make it a path. I want to show you how we use difference, because sometimes I think people make a mistake because unlike in Design Space, you have to have certain elements on top in order for it to slice or difference the correct way. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab a circle. I don't care what my circle looks like. I'm just gonna make it a different color. And then I'll grab a square and I'll make my square a different color just so you can see the difference. I'm gonna get my little selector tool. Now, let's say we want to slice this circle in half. I have the square on top of the circle and the circle is under the square. We're gonna go ahead, select both of our items, go up to path, and you want to choose difference. Now you'll notice that our circle is our half circle that we wanted. That's the correct way to do it. However, if you have this the wrong way, let me switch the layers here. If I have the circle on top of the square and I go to path and I go to difference, you'll notice that this time it took the circle away. So the item that you want to remain, so whatever part it is that you want to stay on your screen, needs to be the bottom layer. Unlike with Design Space, where it would have just sliced them out and given you two different parts, Inkscape will take all the parts away for you, which can be a good and a bad thing. It's just a matter of knowing which one needs to be on top. So again, if I want to just have this half circle, this needs to be our bottom layer. You select both of your items, you go to path, and you choose difference. Then you see you have your half circle. Now I also want to show you something else here, and we'll keep this half circle because we're going to use that as our example. I'm going to go ahead and scroll out on this, and just to zoom out, I just hold Control on my keyboard and roll my mouse button back. Now I'm going to add a square anywhere, it doesn't matter, and then I'm going to add another square, and I'm going to put it over here in this corner. I'm going to go ahead and again just save this over the other drawing. I'm not going to have to keep saving a different project. So you see we have two squares and our semicircle. First thing I'm going to do is open the file to show you what it looks like. Here's what our item looks like. Now you'll notice we have that full square, but then do you see this square is all cut off? So if somebody wanted to preview their design that they purchased for you, or that you want to preview your own design, if you don't have it within that white working space, it will cut it off. And I'll show you what it does in Design Space as well. So here in CRICUT Design Space, we'll go ahead and upload that image again, just so you can see what it does. Now you'll see in Design Space, you can see your entire design. But where it really comes into play is if people want to open it and preview your design, you'll notice that this would have been cut off. So you want to make sure any design that you have is within that white area of your creation. While it will upload just fine into Design Space, you want people to be able to open that file and see it instantly, or if they're using a SVG previewer, you want them to be able to see the preview when they're looking at their folder. So that's a common mistake that a lot of people make. Keep these open so that you can see kind of this next thing that is a big mistake people make, and I'll show you with the text as well. So this is called scaling. Within Inkscape, if you just click on the item, you'll get these arrows and you can pull them out, and you can see that you can change the scale of them really easily. But if you want it to stay within the same scale and you just want to make it larger, you can either go up here and click the lock, just like you can with CRICUT Design Space, or if you don't really want to click the lock, you just hold Control on your keyboard and it will hold the scale. It's the same thing here with text. If I hold Control, I can keep the scale. If I let go of Control, I can change that scale. So that's just like a quick thing, but I see a lot of people will forget to hold Control or forget to lock their item, and then they mess up the scale, they have to undo it. It's a whole thing. Say that I want to make my design all the same color. I can easily do that just by going down here and choosing the color that I want to make all of my items, and I've got my nice little design here. Now I can move things around as I want to, whatever I want to do. Once I've done that, I can just go to File and save this, and I'll show you what it looks like over in Design Space. Again, we'll upload that image into Design Space now that we've just made it all black. You'll see I already uploaded it. I tried something. But I'm going to go ahead and put the drawing in. You'll again see that it looks very blurry. Don't worry, just go ahead and upload it. It'll be fine. Everything's the same color, which you would assume means that it's all one piece. But what is nice is that it's just grouped here in Design Space, so you can individually change all of your items depending on what color you want them to be. So that's really, really handy. But a mistake that I see many people make when they're doing things with Inkscape is they'll make everything the same color because they want that aesthetic look, and they don't think about the fact that somebody might want to change the color. So let me show you the mistake they make. So here in Inkscape, if you select everything on your screen and you go to Path and you choose Union, which is this first one right here, that's basically like welding your design. Then I'm going to go ahead and save this again, just saving over the original one. We'll head back here to Design Space and I'm going to upload the image again. Again, I'm just going to use the same one. We're just kind of using these squares. So again, it looks pretty much the same, right? Like it looks exactly the same. But now when you upload this into your CRICUT Design Space, it's only one piece. So they're unable to move anything around. They're unable to change any colors. They would have to use contour, or you would have to slice things apart. So one thing that's really important is not to use union unless it's a piece that actually needs to stay together. And let me show you that really quick. I'm going to go ahead and just undo what I did so that I can move my pieces around. So let's say, for instance, that we want to take this little half circle, and I'm just going to make it a little bit like bigger. And I want it to be part of this rectangle so that I want it to be one piece to create a shape. I don't know what shape that is, but we're just going to say that's a shape. We want it to be a shape and we want it to stay that way, and we want it to be one piece, especially for the person who's going to cut this on their HTV, their vinyl, their cardstock. What you need to do, instead of selecting your entire design, only select those two pieces that you want to be that single piece, then go to Path and go to Union. Now, when you upload it, instead of having everything as one piece, you'll have each of your individual pieces. That gives your customer or yourself the option to change it up a lot easier than you would if you unioned the entire item. Now, grouping in Inkscape doesn't seem to matter to CRICUT Design Space because CRICUT Design Space doesn't seem to understand if it's grouped or ungrouped. It just assumes it's grouped. So you don't have to worry about anything with that. But definitely pay attention to your text and your path. You want to pay attention to that scaling. Make sure that you have the right item on top if you're using difference. Make sure your designs are within your working box, and also to make sure that you are aware of scaling. If you have any questions about this or anything else that has to do with Inkscape or Design Space or crafting in general, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer this for you. Let me upload this over to Design Space so you can see the union. Another thing I want to point out, just so you're aware, so let's say you've been working, you can't remember if you saved it, you just don't remember, just look for this little asterisk up in the upper left-hand corner next to your Inkscape name, and that'll tell you if you have saved. If there's an asterisk there, it means you haven't saved, and if there's not one, you have. So I'm going to go ahead and again save this for the change that we made and head over to Design Space and show you what this looks like. Again, over in Design Space, I'll upload our design and I'm going to browse for it. Choose the drawing one, and you'll see now we have this single piece, but I want to show you in the layers because that's where it really shows that it's that single piece. Again, you'll see that you have your drawing, but now we have each of these individual items. We have our square, we have our weird shape, and then we have our text. So working with Inkscape, I know can be a little bit intimidating, but I hope that going over some of these common mistakes can really help you. And one of the big things is just to play with it. Have fun. You're not going to break anything. Maybe you'll make an ugly design. Maybe you might mess some things up. Maybe you'll have some errors, but that's just part of the learning process. If you want some more Inkscape tutorials, be sure to check out my Inkscape playlist down below and up in the corner of this video. If you have any questions, please let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to help you with those. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube. That way you don't miss out on any of the fun crafty content we have coming. And as always, happy crafting.